So in this video we're going to talk about rationalising the denominator with surds. Let me just explain what that means. Here we have a fraction, and can you see how the denominator is a surd? Now a surd, if you remember, is the root of a whole number which gives an irrational number. In other words, if I did the square root of 5, I would come up with a decimal which would go on forever with no repeating pattern. So what we want to try and do is to convert this irrational denominator into a rational denominator. Now what we do essentially is we multiply this number by the denominator over the denominator. Now if you think about it, this here, root 5 divided by root 5, is the same as the number 1, because any number divided by itself is still 1. So what we're doing effectively is multiplying this number by 1, which is not going to affect the number. However, what actually happens is, if I multiply this fraction, 3 times the square root of 5 can be written like this, 3 root 5. Now on the bottom, square root of 5 times the square root of 5, square root of 5 times the square root of 5 can be regarded as the square root of 5 squared. Now, if I square a number and then square root it, or square root it and then square it, I simply end up with the number itself. The reason for that is square rooting and squaring are inverse operations. In other words, they cancel each other out. So the square root of 5 times the square root of 5 turns out to be 5. So now we've got this number expressed in a different way. It's still the same number, but the denominator is now a rational number. Right, let's do a I go, you go one. So 2 over the square root of 6, I want to rationalise the denominator, so I'm going to multiply it by the square root of 6 over the square root of 6. That's going to give me 2 root 6, and root 6 times root 6 is root 6 squared, which is 6. Now, I'm not fully finished yet, because this is simply a fraction, and I can simplify the numerator and the denominator by dividing by 2. 2's into 2 go 1, so I've got 1 root 6, and 2's into 6 go 3. So this is my final answer. Okay, pause the video and try this one. So we have 21 over the square root of 7. So I'm simply going to multiply it by the square root of 7 over the square root of 7. And that will give me 21 root 7 over the square root of 7 times the square root of 7 is the square root of 7 squared, which is just 7. And then I can cancel that, divide by 7 on the top and the bottom. 7's into 21 go 3, so we've got 3 root 7, and 7's into 7 go 1. So I'm just going to keep it as 3 root 7.